Hi, everyone. My name is Marissa Petru, and I'm director of the Gilbo Center for Public History at the University of Louisiana at Lafayette, and I am chair of a Student Awards Committee for NCPH. The rest of the committee includes Harvey White, Shannon Halterwanger, Claire Delaney, and Kate Breisler. This year's Student Project Award winner is Camas Clowater-Eriksson for her project, Integration, Women in the Canadian Air Force. Her project developed out of her work for the Graduate Public History Seminar, Materiality and Orality as Historical Evidence, while a graduate student at Carleton University in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. Camas completed her project at Ingenium, Canada Aviation and Space Museum, as a Garth Wilson Fellow in Public History throughout 2020. Integration moved the needle in public history and supported the museum's mission by advancing attention to women in military history and history of technology. The project exhibited highly original research, especially through oral history interviews and the public-facing project of a podcast series. Clowater-Eriksson also made the material accessible to multiple audiences through transcription and translation. The work is exciting, fresh, and has the potential, as noted in the museum's letter of support, to be the basis for many public engagement activities, as well as research and collecting in the future. This wonderful body of work covers a much needed research topic, tracing the early history of women in the Canadian military and allowing these trailblazing women to tell their stories and participate in the interpretation of their own history. In addition, the project used oral histories to expand our understanding of how technology is gendered by looking at how the military used technology to exclude women, how women interacted with technology designed for male anatomy, and how the Air Force repackaged women's tampons, for example, as a male technology before allowing them inside their aircraft. We look forward to learning of the future exhibits, collections, and research that develop out of this important project.
Hello, my name is Camas Clowater-Eriksson, and I am so grateful for being chosen as this year's Student Project Award winner. My master's project, Integration, Women in the Canadian Air Force, is an audio documentary that I produced in part for the Canada Aviation and Space Museum that weaves the experiences of 3 veteran servicewomen into the broader historical context of women's integration into the Canadian Air Force. As a museum-based public history project, I hoped that integration would serve as an example of one way that museums can place the voices of underrepresented groups at the center of the stories they tell. I cannot accept this award without also thanking profusely Anke Berndt, Suzanne Lassard, and Shelley Coulter, the 3 women who shared their stories with me and made integration possible. Thank you also to the Carleton History Department, as well as those at Ingenium Canada, and also my 2 wonderful supervisors for helping me make it to the end of my degree and to the end of this project. Thank you, of course, to you at the National Council on Public History for honoring a humble grad student from Canada with this amazing award. Thank you and take care.
This year, we also have an honorable mention for Keidrick Roy for his project, Rage, Fragility, and Anti-Racism. All of this year's nominees had excellent projects that represented good public history, and we commend each of them for their dedication to this field and desire to be guided by, for, and of the communities that they serve. We also all agreed that projects which move the needle in public history, a field which needs to be shaken up, need to be promoted. And therefore, we award our honorable mention to Keidrick Roy, a PhD student in American Studies at Harvard University. His project was carried out with the Somerville Museum and the City on a Hill network of churches in Boston. Rage, Fragility, and Anti-Racism was designed based on discussions with community members and leaders in the city of Somerville and consisted of 2 free semester-long public anti-racism reading courses, one for the broader community and one for a network of Boston area churches. Local organizers, business leaders, and graduate students were all invited to facilitate course discussions and helped foster engagement even outside course meetings. This project clearly had a broad immediate public impact, was valued by many, and was well presented and implemented. We hope the museum continues to build the community's stories into their work, as Roy did.
My name is Keidrick Roy, and I'm a fourth-year PhD candidate at Harvard University. I would like to thank the NCPH committee for their honorable mention of my project, Rage, Fragility, and Anti-Racism, which is actually the culmination of our broader efforts here in the city of Somerville, Massachusetts, to produce creative and active solutions for achieving racial and social justice. Together, we drew on the intellectual praxis of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. as we worked to provide critical historical context for answering two questions about our country. How did we get to where we are? And where do we go from here? I'd like to thank the Somerville Museum, the City on a Hill network of churches, the nominating committee, especially Sharon Devereaux, as well as the community of volunteers who participated in our efforts to help bridge the nation's racial divide. Thank you again to NCPH for this honor.
Finally, we also have 4 travel award winners this year. These include Stephanie Townrow from University of Delaware for her project, Hungry for History, Storytelling Through Food. Aubrey Parke from Duquesne University, Voices of the River, Oral Histories of the People and Waterways in South and West Antonio. Lydia Biallas, Appalachian State University, for Mental Health, First Aid in Museums. And finally, Anne Maske from the University of North Carolina for her project, East White Oak Mill Village, telling a community story through public history. Congratulations to all of our award winners in 2021.
Hello, my name is Anne Maske, and I'm a second-year MA student in the Museum Studies program at the University of North Carolina, Greensboro. Thank you to the National Council on Public History for choosing me as one of your graduate student travel award winners. I'm so grateful for your support for my capstone research, working with the East White Oak community to commemorate and document the history of the East White Oak Mill Village and the North Carolina African American textile worker experience. Right now, it's so critical to be working with grassroots organizations and communities to document their histories, especially stories that have been historically overlooked as the African American textile worker. You've done that by supporting my research to create a space for the community to reflect on its history and create a community dialogue about segregation within the U.S. textile industry. I'm so excited for my exhibit to open in April and present at NCPH for the first time. Thank you to my advisor, Dr. Torrin Gadsden, and my program head, Dr. Ann Parsons, as well as my community partner, East White Oak Community Center, for all your support through my research. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Townrow. I'm a PhD student in the History of American Civilization program at the University of Delaware, and I live in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. I'm coming to you today from the home of our 15th U.S. President, James Buchanan, one of our great historic sites here in Lancaster. I want to thank you for the award that I received, the Graduate Student Travel Award. I'm traveling to you virtually from this wonderful house where we do a lot of food-related programming. And I'm going to be presenting a poster called Hungry for History, Storytelling Through Food, where I talk a little bit about food-related programming, interpretation, and how to use food to tell stories in museums. I look forward to talking to people about that during the conference, and I look forward to attending. Thank you for the award.